Hello and welcome back to Poetic Insight, the series where we decode your syllabus one line at a time. I'm your Neelama, and today we are venturing into the jungle to talk about one of the funniest poems in your class 10th English textbook, How to Tell Wild Animals. Now, when you read the title, you might think this is a survival guide or a page out of a biology textbook. But let me warn you, don't use these tips in real life. If you do, you might not survive to tell the tale. This poem is a classical example of dark humor. The poem suggests incredibly dangerous and risky ways to identify wild animals. Essentially, the poem says the best way to recognize a beast is to tell it attack you. It is witty, it is sarcastic, and it creates humor out of scary situations. So, let's see how we can identify these beasts without getting eaten. Before we jump into the jungle, let's quickly meet the mind behind this witch. The poem was written by Caroline Wells. Caroline Wells was an American writer born in New Jersey in the late 1800s. While she was famous for writing mystery novels, she was absolutely brilliant at writing humorous words. She had a knack for being playful with language, often using non-standard spelling and funny situations to make her readers laugh. In this poem, she uses her signature style to poke fun at the dangerous nature of wild animals, turning fear into fun. Now, line by line explanation of the poem. Let's break this poem down stanza by stanza. So, stanza 1. The Asian lion, if ever you should go by chance to jungle into east, and if there should to you advance a large and tiny beast, if he roared at you as you are dying, you will know this is Asian lion. It means the poet starts by saying if you go to the jungle in the east, which likely refers to India or Asia, and you see a large tawny beast. Tawny means a brownish yellow color. Now, how do you know it is an Asian lion? The poet says, if he roared at you as you are dying. This is the humor. You don't identify him by his mane and his size. You identify him because his roar is so scary that you literally die of fear. If you are dying, you can be sure it is a lion. Now, stanza 2. The Bengal tiger. Or if sometime when roaming round, a novel wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground, just notice if he eats you. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. It means we meet a novel wild beast roaming around. He has black stripes on a yellow ground, meaning yellow skin. The poet gives a very simple rule to identify him. Just notice if he eats you. This is extremely sarcastic. She calls him noble or royal, even though he is about to devour you. She says this rule will help you discern or recognize the Bengal tiger. Obviously, if you are being eaten, it is a little too late to learn anything. Now, stanza 3. The leopard. If you, strolling forth, a beast you view, whose hide with spot is papered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good to roar with pain. He will only leap and leap again. It means, now if you are strolling and see a beast whose hide or skin is papered with spot, that is the leopard. The clue here is in the action. As soon as he has leapt on you, you will know. Notice the spelling here. The poet spells leapt as L-E-P-T and leapt as L-E-P. This is not a typo. She does it to rhyme with leopard. She says it will do no good to roar with pain because he just keep jumping on you. Now, stanza 4, the bear. If when you are walking round your yard, you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is a bear. If you have any doubts, I guess he will give you just one more caress. It means moving away from the cats. If you are walking in your yard and a creature hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is a bear. You have all heard of a bear hug. Usually, we think of it as friendly, but here it is deadly. The bear squeezes its prey to death. The poet ironically suggests that if you have any doubts about who he is, just wait. He will give you just one more caress. The caress is a gentle touch, but here it means a tight, deadly squeeze. Now, stanza 5th, the hyena and the crocodile. Though to distinguish beasts of prey, a novice might nonplus. The crocodile you always may tell from the hyena. Thus, hyenas come with merry smile, but if they weep, they are crocodile. Here, the poet talks about beasts of prey that might confuse a novice or someone new to the job. The puzzle is how to tell a crocodile from a hyena. She uses old folklore here. It is said that hyenas sound like they are laughing and crocodiles shed tears while eating prey. So, she says if they come with merry smile, they are hyenas. But if they are weeping or crying, they are crocodiles again. Very dark humor, considering they are both dangerous predators. Now, stanza 6, the chameleon. The true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He hasn't any ears at all and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, the chameleon you see. It means finally we look at a small creature, the chameleon. She says it is a lizard sort of thing. It has no ears and no wings. The defining trait here is camouflage. The poet says, if there is nothing on the tree, take the chameleon you see. This is a paradox. If there is nothing, how can you see it? She means that the chameleon blends so perfectly with the trees that it looks invisible. So, the chameleon is likely sitting right there. Now, poetic devices of the poem. Now for the most important part for your exams, the literary device used in the poem. First one is rhyme scheme. Throughout the poem, the rhyme scheme is very regular. A, B, A, B, C, C. For example, chance, advance, east, beast, dine, lion. This gives the poem a fast, rhythmic and musical feel. Next poetic device is enjambment. You will see many lines that don't have a punctuation mark at the end but continue to the next line to complete the sentence. For example, in the first stanza, if ever you should go by chance to jungle in the east. Our next poetic device is poetic license. This is a very important one for this specific poem. Poetic license is when a poet breaks the rules of grammar or spelling to create a rhyme or rhythm. Caroline Wells shortened dine to rhyme with lion. She changes left to rhyme with leopard. Our next poetic device is alliteration. This is the repetition of consonant sound In the word roaming around, R sound repeating, left and left, L sound repeating. He hasn't any ear at all, repetition of H sound. Now our next poetic device is oxymoron and irony. Calling the tiger a normal wild beast while it eats you is ironic. The bear hug, described as a caress, is ironic because it is actually a violent act. Now the next poetic device is paradox. In the last line, if there is nothing on the tree, teach the chameleon you see. This is paradox because usually you can't see nothing. It emphasizes the chameleon's that wraps up our analysis of how to tell wild animals. It is a fun poem, but remember, you focus on the humor and the poetic license. For your answer, if you found this insight helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Poetic Insight for more chapters. Thanks for watching.